Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Serious Strategy Game and we are returning to Let's Play War in the West. Things are looking great for us in northern Italy, as we're shifting troops around to attack the Germans a little bit more closely. The weather is pretty good, so we do have a couple of air operations that I'm just going to show you all of them in a second. You can see there's a lot of overlap here, but let's go through them one by one. We've got our typical direct ground support here in Italy. Not a big deal. I think we've slightly stepped that up. That should be 400 planes by now. Mostly fighter bombers, so directly sweeping in, doing sort of interdiction, and just directly attacking the ground. We've got a couple of ground attacks that are maybe a little bit more interesting. So let's look at this. We've got something in the Regio of Udine, so Friuli if I'm not mistaken, and we've got a bit of direct ground support here. These guys are running interdiction missions, so they're mostly trying to destroy trucks and everything like that. That is supporting these German troops down here, mostly to make it a little bit more difficult for them. We don't really hope to advance very far. There's a lot of heavy mod here in Italy. So yeah, it's not ideal offensive weather at all, but I do think it does make sense to try to disrupt their truck supplies, simply because, well, it's going to make it much more difficult if it's also heavy weather. So yeah, that's that. We've also got an attack here by the 12th Bomber Command. These are not fighter bombers, but two-engined heavy or medium bombers that are going to do some level bombings from medium altitudes. These guys are going to interdict various rail yards in this Alpine region, mostly also to disrupt the German supply capabilities. So we're mostly hoping to push them back by lack of supply rather than direct military force here. We've got one direct attack on the German units that are holding Nice, or Nice, which is, well, we're going to see whether that is going to be successful. There's also two engine bombers coming in at about 16,000 feet, with a couple of Wellingtons and Mitchells, so 200 planes or so. That should be a nice pounding, but I'm not sure whether it's going to be enough to really dislodge them from that area. We further got a couple of preparational attacks here in Picardy, so we are starting to run some interdiction missions here by the 2nd RAF Tactical Forces. Now, I'm not entirely sure how effective these guys will be, because they are flying Mitchells, Mosquitoes, Tempest, Wellington, so it's a really weird mix. Now, the Mitchells and the Wellingtons are level bombers, so these guys are theoretically just flying on a level at about 16,000 feet or whatever, and then dropping their ordnance, which typically just doesn't really do that well against trucks. On the other hand, the Mosquitoes and the Tempests, these are fighter bombers, so they are going to do some strafing attacks and just low-level bombing runs. So that, I do hope, should soften up the German forces here, reduce their supply a little bit before our landings, probably next week, maybe the week after, but we do want to build that up. So that's the background of these ground attacks here. And that's pretty much it for the ground attacks. We do have quite a couple of strategic bombing runs. Let's start over here. We've got the 9th Air Force, so single two-engine heavy bombers. These guys are trying to disrupt the rail supply here in the wider region. And we've got specifically the 6th Air Force, which is going to try to target the port at Le Havre, simply so that they are reducing their build-up of supplies a little bit there in advance to our strike. Don't think we have anything in southern Italy, but let's look at our real hammers, our strategic air forces. There's a new mission, as you can see over here. The 15th Air Force, which is stationed in Italy, is going to fly through Yugoslavia, Hungary, Slovakia, Czech, a little bit over Czechia, and right into southern Poland over here onto Black Hammer. This is the first time that we're striking Black Hammer from the south. This was typically the targets of the 2nd Bombing Division that's stationed here in Italy, in the UK, and this is the first time we're coming in from Italy, so I'm really intrigued to see how well these guys are going to do. It's about, what, 744 planes, which are going to strike there. I don't think they're going to be escorted all the way. Yeah, they're going to lose their escorts right around Vienna, but let's see whether that is going to do as well. This is, of course, striking the synthetic fuel refineries there. Speaking of synthetic fuel refineries, we've got the 2nd Bomb Division, which is going to strike at Strats. There is a small synthetic fuel refinery here, only, well, 2 really. They produce 17, it's not much, but I do want to reduce that to rubbles basically. Because these guys tend to be a little bit vulnerable. You can see they only have 46 escort fighters that are going to come all the way They of course do have some escort fighters which can escort them a little bit of the way, but that's not really what we need. We do have another attack here by the 8th Air Force. These guys are going to do some strategic bombing runs here against Magdeburg and Brandenburg. These are the two real targets that are going to fall in this area. And they're going to strike the vehicle production at Magdeburg, so again the truck production of the and at Brandenburg. At Magdeburg, they are going to strike the Panzer IV factories, the Stug factories, and that's pretty much it. So that's what we are going to try to target here with about 1,000 bombers, B-17s mostly. Although I do think last time we did get some reinforcements, some liberators here that are now part of the 3rd bombing group. Yeah, so 3rd bombing division. Typically these tended to be part of the 2nd bombardment group, which does have this extended range. But you know what, it's fine to mix that up a little bit. And then we have Royal Air Force. These guys are going to strike Cologne, and they're mostly going to strike at the vehicle production in Cologne. You can see the damage is down to 55%, so they can almost start to produce again. And then we're going to try to strike the V weapon factory here at Euskirchen, and slightly the synthetic fuel refinery here at Wesseling. I probably also do want to target at least a little bit the rail yards, and that is very exciting because that is something that we're going to talk about in some more detail, I think probably next episode or maybe the one after that. But I do want to try out something very new and novel. But before we do that, let's execute all of these air directives, see how many losses we are taking and whether we are doing enough damage here to the German industry. Well, lots and lots of runs here on various different things. Let's just keep an eye here on the situation down here. So we're losing 29 here against air combat. They're losing 85. I do have the feeling that losses overall are coming down slightly compared to earlier turns. That might be because the Germans are not flying that much, and because their fuel reserves are pretty much exhausted. So that is kind of interesting. Still, we are taking more than 100 operational losses here in terms of our aircraft. That is, I think, due to... I mean, the weather still isn't great. It's still rainy. It's still kind of winter. So, let's see. It stays 6 out of 7s, and we've lost about 2 times their numbers. Most of them operational, though. Although quite a good number on flak here, too. Yeah, it's almost looking like we're losing more to flak than air combat soon. Well, let's see. Right, okay, so Fighter Command, not much of a deal there. Royal Bomber Command, you guys lost 30 planes. You did shoot down 11, so typical sort of poor performance here in terms of shooting down stuff. But you did at least destroy the synthetic fuel refineries. The V weapon factories seem to be taking quite a bit of a damage here, so that's okay. Synthetic fuel refineries. You didn't really damage the Fort Motor factory there. Oh yeah, you did. Just here on day 7 you're actually hitting your target, so that's kind of nice to see. But yeah, you are taking quite a couple of casualties here, and I'm guessing that this is a lot of the flak damage that we're seeing. If we do look at the air losses here, no, this is operational losses. Yeah, I guess so. Some air combat over here, but you can see the Germans are really starting to look a little bit weaker, and their interceptions are not that strong as they used to be. Second RAF, just how well did you fare in your interdiction missions? Honestly, not that much. Yeah, this is kind of pathetic. We really do need to draft that up more. There's one group here that did fairly well with 34. And I'm guessing that this is probably going to be the Tempests and the Mosquitoes, yeah. So honestly, it does show that at interdiction, this is probably the Mitchells and the Wellingtons. Level bombers just aren't good. They aren't good. We do need to change that up. Yeah. You guys are doing a lot better here on the left side, but I'm guessing also that that is probably going to be mostly the Mosquitoes and, yeah, just it's the fighter bombers. The fighter bombers, the low-level runs are much, much better at doing this. Okay, heavy losses this time around for the 8th Air Force, about 50 planes lost against pretty much 50 on the German side, so 1-on-1 ratio. That's not good, but I do think most of our losses here are operational losses and against flak maybe. But you can see the Germans only really come out on day 1 and trying to intercept us in a series of small air battles, it seems. So, yeah, 2 larger air battles here with Bf-109s and actually U-88 G1s. I don't know what type of plane that is. U-88 G1. Is that a fighter, really? It apparently is, but they are all shot down, so that's nice to see. What loadout did you have? I can't see. Well, yeah, but our Mustangs are shredding these guys, so that is most certainly nice to see. Similar thing here with the BF-109s. Yeah, at this point they have so low experience that we are just killing them, which is lovely to see. 9th Air Force, you guys did lose a little bit, and you did shoot down a couple of enemies, but again, the loss ratios here when we do actually hit them is kind of actually nice. So yeah, the Germans are putting up some resistance here, but it's really starting to look a lot weaker than it used to do. And these are fairly modern BF-109s too, and these are very experienced pilots. So yeah, but with that many Thunderbolts just operating that closely to Britain, I think that is... yeah, they're just definitively going to suffer for that. Right, pretty much everything else here, not that many Germans showing up. Except for number 12th group, you did encounter a couple of Germans. And number 13 group. Yeah, but the loss ratios here seem to be fine. So, yeah, I think we don't need to be too concerned about that result. Interesting that this year, no, I mean, they only had 2 planes. That's where we only shot down 2 planes. Right, 2nd Division, you guys did fairly well this year. No, you did not fare well at all. Jesus, what's going on here? Jesus, what is going on here? We have lost 70 planes, more than 70 planes against 6 Germans. Wow. Is that all of our flak losses here? No, it's mostly operational. Why did we lose so many operational? Have we? This is harsh. Okay, 2nd Bombardment Division this time really took the brunt of the fight here, and that's not good to see. Yeah, but everything else looks fine, so that's good. Let's go back to the units and our ground forces. Right, so what have the Germans got? They've got very little down here. I do think we want to push up through this valley here with these troops. These guys here are going to push up through Turin, but they're mostly going to come that way. And these guys are going to all flow down here, but I do not think that... yep, not remaining port capacity. Are you going to repair that though? Probably at some point. You guys are all fine. Okay, so let's see whether we can capture this city. Well, we could encircle them even, which is interesting to see, although it's not really the biggest German group. Alright, let's push you forward at least. Yeah, and I do think we want to try to capture this harbour as early as possible. So what I'm actually going to do is do a deliberate attack here with both of these groups and hope that we're going to push them back. Yeah, we are taking some casualties here in turn, but that's okay mostly. And I do think it does make some sense to try and encircle them now. I'm kind of suspicious of these guys just jumping forward on us, which really wouldn't be great. Do we have any further fast units that are about over here? Well, we've got you guys, we've got another tank group, but yeah, you're just only starting to appear up over here. The Poles are going to go east. Yeah, well, we could try to push forward still. This is across a river. Okay, let's come up this way. We're capturing that depot. And that does mean we can try to do a hasty attack here. Yeah, we are going to rout them, which is lovely to see. And then we can advance further. You know what? Let's stick over here. Let's put you into this harbour too. And then we're going to grab a couple of these German lines. Just advance a little bit here with our tanks. I think that's fantastic. Good. Right. Yeah, some of these guys are going to be pushed up and forward, but yeah, they're not going to come into play this time, or we're not going to use them for combat. So instead, let's have a look over here. So how are things looking? We've got light mod, I would guess, over here. Yeah, and heavy mod over here. Yes, indeed. So pretty much this is a good hex to attack from, but I doubt whether we're going to get very far. We've got a full infantry division here from the Germans, and we've got parts of Panzer Grenadier division here. So I would like, I think, to try and encircle these guys. I have heavy doubts whether that is going to be possible at all, but at least let's try to see. Right, we can in fact move you forward to here. That's okay. We've probably got an infantry division down here, which we can push up to here. So that's okay too. Let's do push forward the tanks here. And then all of you guys here are going to do a hasty attack against this infantry division. Let's see whether that is going to go well. Yeah, it is. So that's fine. Yeah, taking some losses here, but that's all in all okay. We did expect that. Right, if we moved you forward, we could try to do that. Right, let's push you forward. Let's do a hasty attack against these guys. And they're holding. And that probably spells the end of this offensive, actually. Let's try another attack here with both of you guys. Yeah, this time we are pushing them back. That's good. But I doubt whether we're going to have enough movement points yet. We can't advance any further. That is a shame. You guys are right over here. You guys are okay there. Any further German depots and stuff? Well, one over here, but we can't. I don't think we can get there. We could try to cross here too, just so that we have a better foothold on this side of the river. But I kind of doubt whether that's going to be enough. We would like to destroy some of their depots. Yeah, they actually do have one over here in this city. And they have some fortifications and probably a full infantry division or something. Yeah, a full infantry division and then some. 255 and a lot of martyrs. So that's a no-no. Are we starting to receive some supplies here? Yeah, we are starting to see some. 38,000 received, 33,000 sent out. That's good. That's good. That's a good number of supplies coming in here in Venice. How is our rail network actually looking? Okay, so it does look like we are still sending up some supplies here from Naples. All the way via Rome towards Bologna, I would guess? Yeah. And you're sort of stuck into Bologna and then you're not going to advance that further, are you? Still, 20,000 supplies sent out from Bologna. Genoa did not receive a lot of stuff yet, but I think their port is pretty much damaged at this point. So yeah, we just need to build that up. But over time I think we will be fine there. By the way, you guys here do have level 4 priority as well. Right, that's about it, what we can do over here. Do we want to gently push against these guys? Just so that we have some... Are we doing some advances here? Well, we do not really have enough troops to expand outwards too much anyway. Okay, let's take these two guys to deliberate attack over here. That's good. Then can we get you all the way over there? No, but we can send the British forward. The British, of course, do need to be sent elsewhere at some point. But for now, I think this is fine. Okay, we could try to attack these guys. 1.4 Panzer Grenadiers across a river from muddy terrain. No, I don't think so. Let's not be stupid over here. You guys can get over here, and that does allow the Indians to come this way. That's cool. Right, you do have some support over here. Yeah, you do. You know what? Let's get you into the front line itself. Yeah, I would like to avoid the Germans breaking through, so I think that's going to be okay. Right, British power is probably going to shift them. Yeah, everything else up here does look fine to me though. By the way, how's the weather here? Still rainy, so maybe next time. Yeah, we are controlling the seas. You can see basically we have 3 or 4 level over here, so that's good. That's more than 2 level, or that's 2 level differences. So that's fine. That does mean we should be able to relatively easily send troops around. Interesting that we don't really have that much of control down here. Yeah, these guys do need to... Well, that's a good number of support here. 2 British Armoured Brigade groups, or 1 brigade and 1 brigade group, and then 1 Indian Infantry Division. Yeah, these guys are going to be helpful in the fighting here in southern France. But we should actually make sure that we are controlling this here a little bit more thoroughly. So I'm going to reassign a couple of our naval groups over there so that the German U-boats can't get us all the time. Good. That being said, I don't think there's a lot in terms of attacking. We do still pretty much wait. Oh, by the way, do look at the interdiction levels here. That's looking fantastic. That does mean the Germans will have a lot of supply issues over here. And let's look at the interdiction levels here. Yeah, look at that. That seems to be pretty fine. That here is a little bit more spotty, I have to say. So, yeah, that does need to be furthered a little bit. But all in all, I think this is fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move off all of our troops here and just run the German turn, because I don't think they're going to attack us anywhere. But yeah, then you guys can join me for the first April? May? Yeah, May. First May episode, when maybe we're going to do the Picardy landings. I'm very excited about that. Right, see you then guys. Bye bye.